So hello friends, today I will discuss about types of database management system. So basically this lecture is divided in two parts. Or there are 10 database system which we will discuss in the complete lecture. So I have divided four database management system in this lecture and four in next lecture. So currently in this video I will discuss eight types of database which are centralized database, non-SQL database, distributed database, cloud database, relational database, object-oriented database, hierarchical database, network database. So in this lecture, I will discuss relational, network, object-oriented, hierarchical. Or in next lecture, I will discuss cloud, NoSQL, distributed, and centralized. So start from the relational database management system. So basically, a relational database management system is a type of database system that organize data into table and allow for the creation of relationship between them. So basically, this type of data management system is store the data in a tabular form. As we know, a table is divided in row and column. So basically, each row represent a single record and each column represent a field of data within that particular record. So here you can see this is a structure of a relational database management system. Here this is database, this is table, and this is basically field of particular table. Here you can see these are field table. Okay, so basically a table in divided in two parts. So as we know, this is example of table, and so basically this horizontal is called row, and if you're talking about vertical, this is called column. Now, one of the best feature of the relational database management system is the use of primary key and foreign key. So basically, the primary key and foreign key are used to create relationship between the table. Now, here you can see every table must have a primary key. We can say this is not necessary, but whenever you are talking about creating relationship, so definitely we need a primary key. Okay, because this primary key also work as a foreign key in another table. If we are providing that particular primary key in another table, because this primary and foreign key are very much required to create relationship between table. So when we discuss about characteristics of relational data management system, so first one is tabular structure. As we know, a relational database is base management system store data in tabular format. Okay, so each row represent a record and each column represent a field. Okay, and when you're talking about data integrity, so relational database management system applies data integrity rules using constant as like a foreign key and primary key to maintain accurate and consistent data. And also in relational database management system we have a SQL, that is a structured query language. So basically this language is used to communicate, or you can say uh, to fetch the data, to manipulate the data, to delete the data from the database management system. So basically, SQL is used to communicate with data. And now, data relationship. So, as we know, by providing primary key and foreign key, we can create relationship. And relational data management system have a ACID transaction property, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. This is feature of transaction, and relational database management system always ensure data consistency. Now, talking about component of relational database management system, so uh, tables, that is a primary data storage unit for storing data in row and column, and attributes we call column in table. Basically, uh, here you can see this is a column and this column generally called as a attributes, or sometimes also we call field. Row basically each individual record represent a single row. So basically this is example of a row, this is example of a row, this is example of a row. And key, as we discussed, this is primary key. And by using primary key and foreign key, we create relationship between the table. Now indexes is just work like a search engine if you want to search data from the table. So by using indexes, we can fetch data very easily and with speed as well. So now talking about constant. So basically, constant are set of rule who just apply on the table or column. So unique constructs, constant, main king constant, and forward king constant are example of constant. So we have many constant like null constant, not null, primary key, foreign key, unique, check. So these are all example of constant. Now talking about advances. So as we see data integrity, because here we are using multiple number of constant. So basically constant enforce data quality and consistency, and basically here support connection between the data elements using data relationship, and enable user to utilize SQL to run effective queries, provide mechanism for data security and role-based access control, and we have ACID, ensure reliable data transaction. Now talking about disadvantage, so this designing and keeping up a relational database schema can be challenging, and complex join and large scale data retrieval may have an impact, and it can take more time. And modifying the schema might be challenging and impact already running application. And if we are joining more table, so this can reduce the performance of relational database management system. Now second is object-oriented database management system. So basically, an object-oriented database management system is a type of database management system that organize data into object and allow for the creation of classes and inheritance. In object-oriented database management system, data is stored in format that is similar to object in object-oriented programming language. So it object have its own properties, method, and behavior, and can be part of class or hierarchy of a classes. So here basically this type of database management system follow all the rules of object oriented programming. So just we can take example of a car. So you know which has a properties, so we can say the car has a property as like model, and here also method is start and stop. And it can also model relationship between the objects, such as a car having one to many relationship with its parts. So basically object oriented database just work as like object oriented programming. Okay, if you're talking about some example, so we can see the example of include MongoDB, Apache, and ObjectDB. Okay, and basically these are not so much popular as a relational data management system is popular, because many organizations try to use relational database management system compared to object oriented. Now, so how we can say that this follow the concept of object oriented programming. So first is object. So these are instance of the classes that represent real world entities and have method to manipulate the data in attributes. Classes serve as a blueprint for producing instances and specify the composition and behavior of things. And inheritance allow new classes to inherit traits from the older classes. Encapsulation by preventing direct manipulation, object limit access, and ensure data integrity by encapsulating data and operation. And when you're talking about polymorphism, so polymorphism enables dynamic behavior and flexibility by treating object of various classes as instance of a single super class. Now, talking about advantage, so an object-oriented database management system organically represent data structure which fits well with object-oriented programming. And compared to relational database management system, object-oriented database management system manage complex data relationship. Okay, and a direct object-oriented model for database mapping eliminates the need for the complex data transformation. So basically these are advantage when we're talking about this advantage. So complexity is main concern. So compared to conventional relational database means object oriented database management system can more difficult to design, build and maintain. Okay, and if you are going to use a database object oriented database management system, so it's required you must have some knowledge about object oriented programming. So sometimes this is not possible. Whoever where data administrator or developer may need to learn object oriented programming. So, due to added complexity of handling object inheritance and encapsulation, object-oriented database management system can constantly result in performance overhead. Means if you know this can be lag in performance if we are adding or during handling objects. So and there is a limited standardization compared to relational database object oriented database management system implementation and query language are less standard and depending on the individual use cases and how object systems are modeled, so the performance of object oriented database management system can vary. Now talking about this is the most important database management system in earlier days we can say because people used to use this type of database in earlier days. So a database management system that stores and arranges data in a hierarchical structure is known as hierarchical database management system. And the data organization in this structure are just like a tree, means parent-child relationship. So basically in this type of database management system, parent-child relationship are used to store the data. So each parent's node model can have several child nodes, but each child can have only one parents. So in this picture, you can see this is root. If I am considering this is parents, so here you can see one parents have two child, but each child have has only one parents. So this is basically structure of hierarchical database management system and the data is stored in a tree-like structure with each node representing a record and each branch representing a relationship between the record. Okay, so this structure allow for the easy uh, transformation or transfer of data, but can make it more difficult to represent more complex relationship between the record. So as suppose this is parent, this is child again. If we are trying to make grandchild, so the retrieval of data can be tough, can take more time compared to in earlier structure. Okay. Uh, Hierarchical database management system were popular in the past, especially for the applications such as data modeling for manufacturing system and other similar application. Okay. Now talking about uh, characteristics of hierarchical database management system. So first is This type of data management system have a tree-like structure, and the record are related one to many. So allow a parent record may have several children, or each child record only has one parent, which we have already discussed. And talking about navigation, so there is a predefined path. By using that predefined path, we can access the data. And when we are talking about performance, so when it comes to obtaining data through the predefined path, hierarchical databases are effective. However, they risk losing effectiveness when faced with the challenging or unpredictable queries. Okay, so due to predefined paths, sometimes this is very much easy to access the data. Okay, and talking about data duplicacy, so because data is kept structure and each piece of data only appears once, so data duplicacy is minimized in this type of structure. When talking about component of hierarchical database management system, so we have root node. So as the first node, the root node serve as the beginning point for the data accesses. It has no parents node, but the multiple child node are possible. So here you can see this is beginning of hierarchical database management system, and this is root, and it can have several child node. So here this child node is just working as a parents node for this node. Okay, parents node are linked to one or more child nodes. Although a parents node may have several child node, each child node is only connected to one parent's node. So here you can see this is, suppose this is parent node. So here you can see this parent has two child, but each child has only one parents. Okay, and child nodes connect to parent node are called child nodes. A single parent node directly connects to each child node. Okay, segment is a logical data storage unit in hierarchical database management system, and record are the basic data storage unit in a hierarchical database. Okay, so this is all the properties of component of hierarchical database management system. Now when we're talking about advantage and disadvantage, so there is a effective retrieval, because hierarchical database management system are effective when data access pattern are well defined, since they are optimized for retrieving data in a particular path. Okay, so data access can be very much easy if the data access patterns are well defined, because in this case they have to follow a particular path. So talking about simplicity, so it's correspond nicely to several real life situations where information logically follow a parent-child relationship or data integrity. So since the data can be organized and handled more readily, the rigorous parent-child relationship help protect data integrity. And they are best suited for highly structured data and applications that require a high level of data integrity and security. Now, talking about disadvantage. So, parent-child relationship are the only ones that hierarchical database are intended to support. Due to this restriction, it is difficult to deposit more intricate data linkage that doesn't easily fit into the tree-like structure. And if if your tree is large, so sometimes it is very difficult to assess the data, your level of queries, complexity of queries, you know, uh, tough sometimes to write. And data independence. So if you're talking about data independence, so then modifying a hierarchical database structure without disturbing any existing application that depend upon the present hierarchy can be extremely difficult. Data independence means when you are changing any layer, the other layers should not be affected. But in this case of hierarchical data management system, this can be happen. So this is all advantage and disadvantage. Now talking about last topic of this lecture, that is network database management system. So a network database management system is a type of database management system that organizes data in a network structure. In a network database management system, data is represented as a series of records, with each record having multiple parent and childs. It's create many to many relationship between the record, with record being connected to multiple other record, creating a wave-like structure. So here you can see this is example of a network database management system. Here you can see university is connected to mathematics. Okay, university is also connected to computer department. Also here you can see mathematics is connected to computer department. Here, if I want to access this computer lab, I can follow this path. I can follow this path. I can follow this path. So there are multiple paths possible to access a data. Now, talking about characteristics of network uh, database management system. So sets are group of document with logical connections, and member records, record that are part of set are known as a member records. And talking about owner and member relationship, so I think this is not need to know now. Talking about advantage and disadvantage, so there is a very complex relationship, because in the below last picture you can see one component can be accessed from the multiple paths. So okay, network database are ideal for modeling complicated data linkage, but that cannot be sufficiently captured in a hierarchical structure. It is easier to capture real world relationship when records have numerous parents. Now, the network approach provides more flexible queuing than the hierarchical database. A user can retrieve data by navigating the network structure and following different connection and paths. Because in a hierarchical database, there is a predefined path. But when you're talking about network database management system, there are multiple path is available. So we can choose the smallest path, the most secure path to access of data. Now, talking about data integrating, so by accurately representing the links between the data pieces in a real life, the network model can assist in maintaining data integrity by stabilizing and managing complex interconnection. Okay, now talking about disadvantage, so complexity. So regarding schema design and query formulation, the network model introduce a higher level of complexity. It can be difficult to navigate the network structure and comprehend the relationship and maintenance obstacle. So because of the data interconnected nature, changing a network database schema structure can be difficult and needs to change in several places. So and also there is a lack of standardization, and this is very limited adoption. So this is all about network hierarchical. Hope you easily understand what I'm trying to say and trying to tell you about the this found database. So first one was relational database management system. This is a type of data management system that store the data in tabular format, and tabular just divided in column and row. So each row represent one record and column represent attributes. And this type of system have a primary key and foreign key that used to create relationship between the table. Now talking about object-oriented programming, object-oriented database management system. So in this type of database, the data is stored in the form of object and classes. And in hierarchical database management system, data is stored in a particular parent that pattern. That pattern is defined like parent-child relationship. And this type of data management system have a predefined path. If pattern is well defined, so data retrieval is very much easy in hierarchical database management system. And talking about network database system, so basically this is represent a wave like structure, and here multiple path available for accessing the data in network database management system. So thank you for listening it. Thank you.